It's election time in New York City, and we have got a hot one going on. And I'm not just talking about the damn weather, although the weather is going to probably play into this, and I'll explain in a minute. Anyway, um, Zohran Mamdani, sorry, mispronounced his name. Zohran Mamdani is a Democratic socialist, and he has been making some waves over the last couple of months. Um, Andrew Cuomo, who, by the way, was an awful governor, corrupt as the day is long, just an absolute dog shit governor, who had to leave office in disgrace a couple of years ago because he was too busy grabbing asses and titties. He can't help himself. He's like, hey, man, they looked at me and I thought that was okay just to grab a titty and grab some ass, man. What can I tell you? Asses and titties, I be loving them things. I'm Italian. What are you going to do? I'm Italian over here. I can't help myself. Sometimes I see ass, I grab it. I just like Donald Trump. I see beautiful, I gotta kiss it. Well, Andrew Cuomo is I see titties, I gotta grab them. What can I tell you? Anyway, he Andrew Cuomo is trying to reinvent himself by running for mayor. Uh, and it's only been a couple of years since he left the governor's mansion in disgrace. So now here he is running for mayor. And it is, look, it hasn't been that long ago, and I remember all of it. But I'm into politics. I'm steeped in this shit. So I remember it all. I remember Andrew Cuomo and the IDC having 8 elected Democrats who always voted for the Republicans. So every time some progressive piece of legislation came to the state house, it would get voted out by those independent Democratic conference members that were handpicked by Cuomo, so it wouldn't reach his desk, so he wouldn't have to veto it. Because he doesn't want shit like that. He fought tooth and nail against our former mayor, de Blasio, over universal pre-K, which is beloved in the city. Parents all over the city love universal pre-K. Why? Not only does it educate your children at a younger age, but by being able to put your 3 and 4-year-old child into an early education program, you can go back to work, which is very, beloved by a lot of New York parents. And since Cuomo was governor, and by the way, Bloomberg, don't even get me started on Bloomberg, the rents in New York have skyrocketed just through the fucking roof. My rent went up too, not to mention the cost of everything else. But, and then of course, Andrew Cuomo was instrumental in his 2.5 terms as governor for closing down lots of hospitals and turning them into high-end condos. So when COVID comes around and we actually need those hospitals, Andrew Cuomo's like, oh God, we don't have any hospitals. Let's just stick all of these COVID-infected people back into nursing homes where there's a lot of people in there who don't have COVID, now all of a sudden have COVID. And they ended up losing about 15,000 people died in those first couple of months due to Cuomo sticking those people back in the nursing homes. Andrew Cuomo was absolute dog shit, and now he's trying to reinvent himself as the mayor of New York City. Jesus Christ, man, those Cuomo boys, they are just a hot mess. Anyway, Zohran Mamdani, who just a couple of months ago was kind of a blip and nobody was really paying attention to him, has been on the campaign trail, and he's saying a lot of good shit, and he has, in some polls, overtaken Cuomo in just a short, scant couple of weeks. It's pretty amazing. And of course, Andrew Cuomo is, he's gotten so much money from the billionaire class. By the way, New York City has the highest concentration of billionaires on the planet. We have 123 billionaires living in New York. 123. We have like 380,000 millionaires, but we have 123 billionaires. And Andrew Cuomo's contention is that if you raise taxes, they're all going to leave. Where are they going to go, man? They all going to move to Jersey? You think Jersey's not going to, tax them either? You're going to move to Massachusetts? Honey, if you were a billionaire and you've got billionaire money, you've got fuck you money, you ain't going nowhere. You live in New York, you're going to stay living in New York. This whole idea that they're going to get up and move, that's not going to happen. But Andrew Cuomo is insistent upon it, and he's so insistent upon it that he's gotten huge donations from the likes of Mike Bloomberg is giving him millions of dollars. Ken Langone from the Langone hospitals all over New York City, he's given him millions of dollars. And a handful of others have dumped buckets of money on it. And of course, Bill Clinton has chimed in and supported Andrew Cuomo. I guess they went to Ass Grabbers Anonymous together, him and Cuomo. I mean, Jesus Christ. To get an endorsement from Bill Clinton at this point, I would be walking away from it. But Andrew Cuomo's like, oh, Billy boy, he came over and endorsed me, man. And Clyburn, Jim Clyburn, I don't know if he's the senator or former senator of South Carolina. He's the one that fucked Bernie back in 2020 during the election before COVID, where Bernie Sanders wins the first three primaries, and then the fourth primary is South Carolina right before Super Tuesday, and Jim Clyburn comes out and endorses Biden, and then Barack Obama calls all the other centrist Democrats and tells them to drop out of the race, and like magic, they all drop out of the race, and then all of a sudden it's Joe Biden against Bernie Sanders alone, and and we all know how that ended up working out. And, I mean, Jesus Christ, I just want to say to my liberal blue MAGA types out there, how does it feel, man? Bernie Sanders has still got his wits about him. He's still got his brains. He's out there doing a anti-oligarchy tour. The guy he's got more energy than I do. But you wanted your Joe Biden, you wanted your centrist candidate, and, he, at that time, even during the primary in 2019, the guy could not fucking speak. He couldn't speak his way to get out of his own goddamn way. But yet you got him. Anyway, I'm sorry, I digress. But it's just the same old shit. We have a choice between a Democratic Socialist and Zohran Mamdani, or we've got Andrew Cuomo, corrupt ass Andrew Cuomo. And these are our choices. I mean, there's a lot of other people. There's like 11 people running for mayor, but these are the two front runners. And Andrew Cuomo is just going on name recognition. There's a lot of people out there who are just normie Dems, and they don't really pay attention to politics. And like, oh, Andrew Cuomo is running. Oh, I'll just check him off right there. They don't remember any of the bad shit that I just told you. All of that horrible shit. He is in bed with big real estate. The reason why your rent is going up is not because of migrants. It's not because of trans people. It's because people like Andrew fucking Cuomo, who get in bed with big real estate dealers, and the prices of your rent go through the fucking roof. That's how it happens. Mike Bloomberg, when he comes in and he makes wheels and deals with foreign countries to allow their wealthiest oligarchs to buy property in New York City as a tax shelter, that's the reason why your rent's going up. Anyway, we got an interesting article here. Free buses, more housing, taxing the rich, how Zohran Mamdani has gone viral in New York mayor's race. He was 30 points behind former Governor Andrew Cuomo just months ago, but now he is surging in the contest to lead the largest U.S. city. And by the way, just to put this out there, New York City, I know it's local, and a lot of people out there who are listening to this probably don't really know or care about what goes on in New York City. You're in your own town. But New York City is a bellwether for the rest of the country to see what direction the rest of the country is going. And since New York is a blue area, a Democratic area, this is a bellwether to let everybody know what direction the Democratic Party is going in. And Zohran Mamdani has gotten the endorsement of Bernie Sanders and AOC. after his first debate where he wiped the fucking floor with Andrew Cuomo. AOC came out there and endorsed him and then shot up like a rocket. Zohran Mamdani trailed Andrew Cuomo, the frontrunner to be the next New York City mayor, by 30 points just a few months ago. Now, just ahead of the Democratic primary on Tuesday, the 33-year-old Democratic Socialist has bridged the gap with Cuomo, a politician so of the establishment that a giant bridge north of New York literally bears his last name. That's right. Well, it's not his last name. It's his dad's last name, because his dad was governor way back in the day. And by the way, just a little cute little factoid, when his dad was running against the New York City mayor, Ed Koch, Ed Koch was rumored to be gay. You know, nobody ever really knew, but Ed Koch was rumored to be gay. He was an older single man. And, you know, I mean, maybe he had a little lightness in his loafers. I don't care. You know, I wasn't around in New York at the time. But when Ed Koch was running against Cuomo for the governor's mansion way back in the day, Andrew Cuomo's contribution to his dad's election strategy was vote for Cuomo, not the homo. That's Andrew Cuomo for you. The surge in support for Mamdani as an inspiring rapper turned you just throw it out there, aspiring rapper, turned state politician with a penchant for turning out snappy social media videos and a track record of progressive left-wing ideas, also has shown his clear ability to win over younger voters. It also did not hurt when he won the backing of progressive AOC and Bernie Sanders this month. Mamdani's rise has lent new edge to an election that was in danger of becoming a procession for Cuomo. The former New York governor, who resigned in disgrace in 2021 after being accused of sexual harassment. Gotta grab them titties. For a Democratic Party struggling to stand up against Donald Trump. By the way, Andrew Cuomo would not stand up to Donald Trump. Andrew Cuomo has some of the same billionaire donors as Donald Trump. And you know how it works with politics. If you've got a billionaire donor, you're going to do what they say. You're going to take that fucking phone call. That's why our politics is so absolute ass. Is because billionaires buy the politics they want and the rest of us get the shaft. For Democratic Party struggling to stand up to Donald Trump and his Make America Great Again acolytes, the closely watched election will offer an insight into what rank and file Democrats desire. A good old boy promising a steady hand on the tiller, the citation needed, or a fresh outsider who has energized parts of wary New York's electorate with plans to freeze the rent and make buses free citywide. A lot of people used to give de Blasio a hard time about, you know, this and that and the other. And I would always say to him, hey, man, he did universal pre-K and he did a rent cap, which meant that when it came time for my landlord to raise my rent, he could only raise it a very small percentage as opposed to whatever the fuck he wanted to. And I appreciate that. It's the little things. That's the kind of thing that you want out of your local leadership. Save me a couple of bucks and make sure that the trash doesn't build up on the street and make sure that the snow gets plowed, you know? That's all I really want from my goddamn mayor. I just want clean streets and low rent, or as low as I can get it. Anyway, with our current mayor, Eric Adams, my rent went up, you know, whatever the hell my landlord wanted, because he got rid of that provision from de Blasio. Anyway, having Mamdani put a rent freeze is not going to do a rent freeze for me. I think he's just doing a rent freeze for stabilized housing in the city. But, you know, that is kind of a signal to the rest of the landlords that, hey, you can't jack up my rent either, or at least not as high as you want to. Mamdani's rise has been boosted by social media following that dwarfs his rivals. He has almost 1 million followers across Instagram and TikTok, where he posts funny and self-aware videos of himself in the public. The clips frequently show him walking through walking through New York or riding the subway, things that are unlikely to come naturally to the multi-millionaire Cuomo. Oh yeah, that's right. Andrew Cuomo, rich as 6 foot up a bull's ass. That boy got cash. After supporters commented on Mamdani's frequent, exuberant hand gestures in his videos, he posted a clip where he promised to keep his hands in his pockets, removing them twice only to have them slapped down by a man on the street. That's actually pretty funny. This election is in your hands, a caption read in the video in which Mamdani urged people to register to vote. The video was left to roll at the end as Mamdani laughed at the shtick. Anyway, he's a Muslim. He was born in Uganda to Indian parents. Mamdani moved to New York City when he was 7 years old. Has a long-term interest in politics. Last week, a former classmate shared a video in which she recalled how Mamdani won a mock presidential election in 2004. A cricket and soccer player, he usually played defense or, this is just like incidental stuff here. Mamdani has bold ideas for what he would do as mayor in the city with a long-standing affordable housing crisis. This is true. He wants to freeze rent increases for people in applicable buildings and build 200,000 new homes over the next years. He also says he would eliminate fares on city buses, which is something that would cost at least $630 million, which is a drop in the bucket to New York City, honey. I mean, Jesus Christ, we got so much fucking money in this town. But according to Mamdani, would generate $1.5 billion in economic benefits. Yeah, by taxing rich people, man. New York City has an annual... by the way, Cuomo wants to lower taxes. So, you know, even if those 123 billionaires stay here because he's so afraid that Mamdani's going to chase him out, but even if they stay here, he's lowering their taxes anyway. So what's the fucking point? Yeah, they're all going to stay here, but I'm lowering their taxes, so we're going to get less revenue. Great job, Andrew. Genius idea, man. Something which... he says that he can fund his proposal by increasing the corporate tax rate and bringing in a flat tax on people earning more than $1 million a year. I'm okay with that. I don't make $1 million a year. I don't even make close to $1 million a year. But Mamdani's limited political record, more than his proposals, has come under scrutiny. Yet again, when I hear people say he's got no experience, honey, Andrew Cuomo has got all the experience in the world, and he is super corrupt. Do we want somebody with lots of experience who knows how to work the system, man, and massage the system and get his cut on the back end? Or do we want somebody who actually just seems to give a shit? I don't know. I'm kind of leaning with the latter. There was more than a whiff of jealousy from Mamdani's opponents during the Democratic debate on June 4th, with even his progressive rivals taking a shot. Jessica Ramos, a state senator, theoretically a more powerful position than Mamdani's role as state representative, lamented that she had not run for mayor 4 years earlier, adding, "I thought I needed more experience, but it turns out that you just need to make good videos." Well, yeah, man, that's called politics. Duh. Just called politics. Don't hate the player, hate the game, man. Ramos is slightly mirrored Cuomo's persistent refrain that Mamdani lacks the experience to be mayor. As Mamdani, yeah, that just sounds like sour grapes. As Mamdani has risen in the polls, Cuomo has stepped up the attacks. By the way, he put out a flyer recently where he darkened the guy's face. Hold on, let me see. Did I pull that one out? Yeah, here it is. He darkened his eyes. He made his beard thicker. Look at that. I don't know how you do that. You just made the beard thicker, you know, and I mean, he looks like he's running from DHS right now or ICE is coming after him. You know, this guy is the fucking Taliban. Look at him. He's got the thick beard. He's got a Muslim last name. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Tell me that's not fucking obvious what you're trying to do. I mean, honey, I was born at night, but not last night, Cuomo. Anyway, let me see. What did it say anything about that? Cuomo has stepped up the attacks on his rival, painting him as too radical and inexperienced to lead the city in a barrage of TV ads because he's got all the money in the world from Bloomberg and Ken Langone and all of the billionaire types donating to him because they know he's going to cut their taxes, just like Donald Trump is cutting the rich people's taxes right fucking now. Rich people are Republican. You will never see a Democratic. Mark Cuban is not a Democrat, okay? He might be kind of centrist-y leaning, but trust me, man, he does not want to have his taxes raised. And leftists like me want to tax the fuck out of the rich people, which is why I don't get George Soros checks because I want to tax rich people. And rich people hire people like Charlie Kirk, hire people like Ben Shapiro. They want those people out there spreading their propaganda because it's lucrative. They will throw them a couple of bones, which is just a couple of bones to a billionaire, but it ends up being like $50 million, $100 million to all of these little Republican acolytes out there just singing their praises of rich people deserve all the wealth because they're just better than you. Anyway, appeared to have darkened the skin and beard of Mamdani. Yep. Who would be New York's first Muslim mayor, a move Mamdani criticized as blatant Islamophobia. Yeah. A spokesperson, remember, don't vote for Cuomo, not the homo, New York's first Muslim mayor, a move Mamdani criticized as blatantly Islamophobic. A spokesperson for the group said that the ad had been proposed by a vendor, and upon review, it was immediately rejected for production. It was subsequently rejected. Nah, man, y'all got busted for it, and then you changed it. Come on, man. Don't piss down my leg and tell me it's raining. For his part, Mamdani repeatedly sought to tie Cuomo to Trump, which they get the same donors, pointing out that many of his donors backed Trump in the presidential election. And by the way, those same Trump donors, were big time donors to our current mayor, Eric Adams. Oligarchy is on the ballot. Andrew Cuomo is the candidate of the billionaire class that is suffocating our democracy and forcing the working class out of the city. Yeah, man. Nobody can afford to live here anymore. It's just turning into a strip mall for the wealthy. And if you're going to tell me that, some business on Madison or Fifth Avenue are going to move out because rich people aren't buying enough of their stuff, I'm sorry. Here's the smallest violin in the world playing for you. Let me see here. This is Andrew Cuomo, former Governor Andrew Cuomo. Let me see here. He defends his remember I told you about the nursing home decision. And, former Governor Andrew Cuomo faces blistering criticism. This happened last year in an often combative congressional committee hearing Tuesday over his handling of COVID-19 pandemic, the time when the virus was spreading through the nursing homes. Republicans who questioned the Democrat zeroed in on a controversial directive for his administrations issued in March of 2020 that initially barred nursing homes from refusing to accept patients just because they had COVID. More than 9,000 recovering coronavirus patients were released from hospitals into nursing homes under the directive, which was rescinded amid speculation that it had accelerated outbreaks, which it did. U.S. Rep. Elise Stefanik, who I got no love for. And look, the only reason why they're going after him is because he's a Democrat. They don't really give a good goddamn how many people died in the nursing homes. But they're using this because they thought that Andrew Cuomo at the time was going to be the heir apparent to run against Donald Trump. Y'all remember COVID every day. Andrew Cuomo's out there talking about, I am the sane one. Donald Trump's crazy and wild and is telling you to inject bleach into you and, shoot sunlight up your ass. And I'm the normal one. Meanwhile, he did this. Anyway. It's exhausting. Oh, by the way, I wanted to mention, I mentioned at the top of the story that the weather is going to play into it. Right now, New York is going through a heat wave. It was like 95 degrees today. tomorrow, with the election day, Tuesday, which this video would be dropping tomorrow, is primary election day, and it's supposed to top 100 degrees. And I voted early, and we had early voting for the last 2 weeks. But the people who delayed and waited until the actual primary day, they are going to have a much harder time. I mean, personally, I think it would have probably been better if everybody had gone out and voted early, and you wouldn't overwhelm the polling places on election day. We have that option. Not not every place around the country has early voting, but we do. So we should have taken advantage of that. But then again, there are going to be a lot of people out there who are going to be standing in line. And if they're standing in line for more than 30 minutes and they got the hot beating sun on top of their heads, there will be plenty of people who go, fuck this, man. It's just a primary. I'm going home. And that might play into this. I don't know, if the youth vote came out in mass for Zohran. Hopefully they did. I don't really give a good goddamn. I'd rather Mamdani win this. I would. But if one of the other progressive candidates ended up beating Cuomo, that's all I care about. Andrew Cuomo is a shitheel. He is horrible. And by the way, I'm already hearing rumors that if he loses this primary, he's going to run as an independent and try to rat fuck this election. So just be prepared for that. Andrew Cuomo is blue MAGA. He is Donald Trump with an Italian accent. The guy is just as dirty and corrupt as the big guy. And he has aspirations of going further. He's trying to reinvent himself with this mayoral race. And God damn it, man, I really hope he loses. I'm not putting all my eggs in that basket, because I also have low expectations for, the voting base, because a lot of times people are just normie. People are not paying attention, and often name recognition is enough. But hopefully, with all of the endorsements that he's gotten from AOC and from Bernie Sanders, and all the cross endorsements that he's gotten from several of the other progressive candidates running for this mayoralship, I'm hoping that that's going to be enough to push him over the brink, because this is the election. Whoever wins this election is going to be mayor of New York City. New York is not going to elect Curtis fucking Schlewel, Republican douche canoe, for mayor of this town. It's not going to happen. So whoever wins this is going to be the next mayor. I just hope that Andrew Cuomo is adult enough to go lick his wounds if he loses and go the fuck away, because dog, we are done with you, man. You are a bad dude. You are a bad politician. And if I didn't hear Andrew Cuomo's name ever again, it would be too soon. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.